Okay, we're back at the 5-minute mark, and we've got Cameron Czubernat here today. Say hello, Cameron.
Hello, everybody.
Cameron is a great friend of mine. In fact, he's an investor in the Cody Dog Interactive Company, and one of our first ones. And I'm just excited to know him, not only as an investor, but we've been friends for many years. So he's been elected to come on here today to help us talk about some great things that a lot of us need in our life. And that's one is self-confidence, number one. And two, why don't you explain it?
You know, number two is getting outside your comfort zone.
There you go. Getting outside your comfort zone. And there is nobody on this planet that is better than Cameron at getting outside of his comfort zone. I mean, I've seen you do some really fun things in social activities, and but we've got him here today, and he works for a company that he owns as well. It's called Commercial Properties Group, and they are a commercial company out in the East County of San Diego, and he's been doing this now for quite some time, and hard worker, great guy, and he's going to share with us how to get outside his comfort zone. But first, Cameron, tell the people about you.
Well, thanks, Dennis. I was born and raised in San Diego, and I have one sister live up in LA, and I went to San Diego State, stayed local, got my degree there, and worked for the family business. They own a construction company, worked there for a couple of years, and then had the opportunity to do commercial real estate back in 2007. So I jumped into that. And
so you had the opportunity to basically run up the ladder in a family business, kind of like the Trumps, but it's the Czubernats.
Yep, exactly.
And you jump ship and decide you want to do something on your own.
Yeah, I'd always wanted to do commercial real estate, and that's what I went to school for and had the opportunity. And I said, gosh, I don't know if this opportunity is going to come around again, so I better jump at it and take the bull by the horns. And that's what I did, and I haven't looked back. And in commercial real estate, it's not one of those things you just jump in and make money right away. It takes a lot of years of apprenticeship and low pay, 4 or 5 years, kind of like a doctor almost. Yeah, you have to, when you get into it, you have what's called a runnership. So it's a solid 2-year program where you basically work for nothing. And at that point, you jump into it, you're learning from a couple of seasoned guys, and you hope that you made a good decision in getting into that field. Yes, exactly. And to go out on your own, you said you have a wonderful partner. I mean, he is by your side and he's a team player. He's the hardest worker in the room kind of guy. He really is. He's that kind of guy you can always count on in business. He's a personal friend of mine as well. And just through thick and thin, he is a hard worker, very smart guy, and just really blessed to be a part of his team for sure. I mean, you're always saying we had a rough month, and he just gets in the old room and just says, "Let's go get him. Let's go get him." He's a workhorse. And he's the ultimate encourager. He really is, and it's really neat to be part of his company too. He might be the Tony Robbins of the commercial real estate industry. He really is. Yeah, good point. That's awesome to have partners like that, and we all wish we can have somebody that can go through the thick and thin together like that, and that's really good that you found that kind of person. So back to working on getting people out of their comfort zone, Cameron. Mm-hmm. In a personal space or a business space, we can go to both sides with this if you want, and explain the ultimate. First off, where did you get all these? I guess you would call balls. Where'd you get all this fearlessness and balls to literally go? I mean, literally, you'll go up to any human being and talk to them, whether they're 90 years old or it's a beautiful bombshell from a movie star. You'll talk to anybody, and I've seen it over and over again, and it doesn't faze you one bit. Well, thanks. Appreciate that. I'll touch on business and personal. Yeah. So with business, when I got into the business, we had to do what's called cold calling. A lot of businesses have that. Yeah. And so that's walking in door to door, unannounced, no appointment. Why don't you call that cold knocking? Yeah, cold knocking. Exactly. Cold knocking. Yeah. So you're sitting in front of the receptionist trying to get to the owner to talk to him about his real estate. And the receptionist basically is saying, "What do you want? Get out of here. You don't have an appointment." So there's a lot of fear of rejection there, and you really have to have thick skin. And it really took me a while in the business sense to go in and say, "Okay, I know this is not going to be easy. I know people might not want to talk to me, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to keep going." And, with that, there was success that was built through relationships in business that I was able to take away through door knocking and led to deals. And I said, okay, well, hey, this is hard, but the more I did it, the more I got more comfortable. And in that social setting of people that maybe didn't know me, that were busy and weren't expecting me. And it really proved to be a good thing that's helped me in my career.
So what do you think you've done differently from when you first started doing it with no confidence to when you started doing it with confidence? What are some of the approaches or demeanor?
I think when I first started, I was stumbling over my words. I was nervous. I didn't really know what to say. Now I definitely hold a certain confidence when I walk in. For example, that I don't know somebody, I can speak more clearly, intelligently, and not waste their time like I did when I first started.
Right, right.
So that's definitely a change I think has happened for sure.
Touching on that more, I'm trying to get more out of you on this. So
yep.
You walk in, you just have this whatever happens attitude, or you just have like this, do you try to connect with their eyes? You know what I mean?
Yeah, great question. When I walk in and I don't know somebody, I try to connect with them, just like in a social setting. I might say, hey, this is a really nice office you have.
Right.
Or, pay a compliment if it's sincere.
Or that painting on the wall.
Or the painting on the wall is like, hey, that's cool. Or, wow, I really like what you've done with the building.
Right.
Anything along those lines where, you try to connect with him on a level of, okay, hey, this guy's not a jerk. He actually is, a nice guy, and maybe I might take the time to talk with him. So,
do you do any kind of research on a walk-in, or you just do it?
On some of the larger ones I do. I'll do some research. I'll definitely have the person's name who I'm trying to get to, and typically I'll know what kind of business they are, so I'll know a little bit about what they do when I walk in the door. Yes.
Good. Okay.
Yep.
So on the business level, there's walking in the door and just getting the confidence going, furthering the relationship. Do you just go right into business, or you continue on a personal level with them, or how's that work?
You go into a personal level and then you transition into business. And it's one of those things where you can't just go straight into business because, you have to have some sort of personal connection with people. And typically, I can ask a series of questions: where you're from, oh, do you have kids? What do you like to do for fun, outside of work, those kind of things. And hopefully, you build some sort of connection with the person and then kind of leading into the business. And
so almost maybe the first one or two times you go in there, you're not even talking business at all. You're just kind of welcome to the community kind of thing, or
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I think the real successful salespeople don't even talk about sales.
Right.
They just talk about them.
Right.
And I think that's what people like to talk about is themselves. So if you can get people going and really engage and be sincere in that, it really goes a long way, in helping people get from point A to point B. And if you can provide a service or, whatever service you're in, mine's commercial real estate. So if I can help them, get into a larger building, let's say, or want to buy a building, then it's a good thing. My old sales manager, he said, people like to do business with people they like face to face.
Right.
And it really is true in any kind of business that you're in.
Yeah. I heard these words come out of your mouth before, and I don't want to ever miss an opportunity ever again in my life. And this more is on the subject of working outside your comfort zone.
Right.
And you had an experience when you're younger that I'd love you to share here today. And tell people, like, this is where it ended. This is where this fear of missed opportunity. Go ahead, share it.
I think
you can do it.
Okay. I think I was either 15 or 16 years old, and I remember it very clearly. I was eating at a Mexican food restaurant with a couple of buddies of mine, and I remember this really cute girl walked in, and I said, "Wow, she is amazing."
Right.
And I kind of got nervous because I wanted to say something to her. I didn't know what to say.
And that's me every time.
And my heart's pounding, and I'm going, "Oh crap, man! What am I going to say?" Gosh, wow, okay. So I sat there and I was so nervous that I didn't say anything, and she got up and walked out, and I was stuttering in my own mind with what to say, and she walked out and I didn't talk to her. And I remember after that saying, man, why the heck did I not at least try to talk to her? Why didn't I do that? And at that moment, I said to myself, I'm not going to ever have a missed opportunity like that again. And I think that was my moment where I said, you know what? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, and that girl doesn't know she changed your life forever, because you do not miss any opportunities, business or in social. I mean, you're not afraid to talk to anybody, whether it's women or men. I mean, I've seen it all the time, and it's amazing. I mean, you're just so good at it. Any tips you can give to people for getting to that space besides, I guess, saying just never miss an opportunity?
Yeah, I think for me, I love people.
Right.
And so that helps.
Right.
But, going when you don't know somebody, again, just like with business, it's hard, right? Because you don't know, hey, is that person going to be accepting of me, or are they going to be, like, oh, well, why is he talking to me, or why is she talking to me? And I think for me, it's really having the attitude and understanding that, hey, wow, everybody is in the same position. And, you might go up to someone and they might be saying the same thing, like, wow, I wish someone would talk to me.
Right.
And I think the more you do it, and the more you realize, like, hey, this isn't so bad talking to people, even though it's stepping outside your comfort zone again. The more you do it, it's scary at first, but then you say, hey, this is not so bad. And you get to build relationships with people that you might not have known, just like with you.
Right.
We met and it's like, gosh, I don't know this guy from Adam, but how long have we known each other? Many years now.
Yes.
It's been a great friendship.
Yeah.
So I think going into a room where you might not know anybody, especially, in gosh, if it's a birthday party or anything, going in to say, hey, people are actually really, nice. And it might not be so as bad as you think, and really just forcing yourself to step outside your comfort zone and say, you know what, self, I'm going to go talk to this person, and what's the worst that's going to happen?
Right.
And not being afraid to fail, really, because, I've also learned, failing or, going through a failing process is part of the winning process. Yep. So, the same thing with relationships and people, and, the more you do it, the more you become comfortable, and here we are. Yes,
exactly. So sometimes we run into situations where they're adamant not to want to talk to us, like, but you really need to talk to them. I mean, we're talking girls, we're talking men, we're talking anything, businesses. Like, you go in a door, and how do you, you keep taking shots, man. You're getting punched and you get knocked down. Do you resign, or do you have kind of like, do you try to bring them down to a certain level, or do you try to engage them and change the scenery of where they're trying to be?
Yeah, great question. A lot of people are so busy, they don't have time for you,
right?
In personal or in business, right? So if you can go, you can't give up, and if you just try one time, you're never going to go anywhere.
Right.
So really, in my opinion, you have to come at it with a different angle. You have to say to yourself, gosh, how can I help that person?
Right.
I need to bring them something that's valuable to them.
Right.
In business, hey, here's a building that just sold, thought you might be interested in it.
Right.
Or, hey, here's a couple ideas that you might, to help your business out. Where the person might say, gosh, okay, he's not just trying to sell me something, he's really trying to help me.
Right.
And I think that really is true in the personal life too. That, if you try to help people, it comes back around. And I think if you're sincere with both those things, people realize that, and they want to do the same for you, and it kind of feeds off each other. And so, you really gotta say, hey, how can I be selfless here? And, you might want to sell something to the guy, but hey, I'm just going to help them, and hopefully down the road, I might be able to, do some business with this person, and it can be a win-win situation. So that's kind of how I've looked at it.
I know you've talked about it a couple different times. Some different ideas that you do, and one of the ones I really liked that you mentioned was, setting up events to invite your your prospect clients or future clients, or even clients you have now, that you can just give them education and just let them meet other clients of yours or other people so that they can basically network within them. And you're just kind of staying in the background, just creating relationships. Is there any kind of advice you could give to maybe even other commercial real estate brokers or anybody out there on those ideas that you've come up with?
Well, people like to connect with other people. And so if you can have a situation where you can introduce maybe a vendor that you might say, wow, this would be a really good company for company X. Hey, you should give them a call, or, provide a referral where, again, it helps them out. people really say to themselves, wow, hey, thank you for introducing me to that person. So it's really, again, back to the whole idea of helping people.
Right.
And, if you can do that in personal life, whether it's like, hey, I really have this, it happened to me yesterday. I handed out a card, this guy, he did such a great job on my car. I said, man, hey, let me get a couple of your cards. I'm going to talk to some people, and,
Yep.
it's funny, if you do a good job for somebody, they might tell one or two people. If you do a bad job for someone,
You're gonna tell everybody.
They're going to tell everybody. Exactly. So you always have to have that in mind. And as you're building relationships, whether it's personal, whether it's, business, it's just, you always want to have integrity, put people in front of yourselves if you can, and, have a great time with life. And that's another thing that I really strive to do, is have a great time in both my business life and my personal life, and with friends and family. So
let's touch more on that, Cameron, because I know you are a lover of cruises and a lover of travel.
Yes.
And I guess I'm saying that lightly, because you literally love those things and you do quite a bit of it at a young age. And
yes.
Your schedule is filled with travel, and you love doing it. What gave you the idea that living life is more than anything, that more important than anything? Because I think there might even have something happen in your life. Do you just realize that I got to live now? I can't wait till later.
Yeah, luckily I've been very fortunate and blessed. I've been to 40 countries and 30 cruises and counting. So, back before the term "you only live once" was popular and everyone was saying it, I remember I was in Australia and I looked over this building and there was this big sign that said, "You only live once." And I looked at that and I said, wow, that is such a great thing. Yes, you do only live once. And I remember talking to my grandpa and other people that were older that, maybe have had money but just couldn't travel, or, those people. And he said, hey, do it while you can. And I really took that advice and I said, gosh, you know what? Life does go by quick. And I'm going to try to do everything I can to have as much fun on the things that I love to do, which, like you mentioned, are cruises and traveling. So I try to book as many as I can. And luckily I have a great partner who covers for me while I'm gone. And that works too. And I'm very fortunate to have that situation there. But yeah, the idea of, just go ahead and book it. A lot of people always say, well, gosh, I just don't think I can do it. But you know what? A lot of times it's just fear of doing that one thing.
Right.
And I just, again, don't have fear. And I say, why not go to a third world country where they don't speak English? Why not? I'm going to do it, and have done it, and, worked out just great. Yeah, I've gone solo on, many trips, and worked out great. And it's certainly, even with that, stepping outside your comfort zone, going to a country by yourself where they don't speak English.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
That's a challenge.
I've done that when I was 16 years old by myself. But yeah, it's stepping out of your comfort zone times two.
Yeah, exactly. That's like extreme, stepping out, you don't know where anything is or where you're going. And gosh, it's but it's all part of the adventure. And I think that's another thing where I love is adventure. And, kind of going back to meeting people, every person has their own story. Every person is a book. So if you can, dive into that, you really get to, have a fun time with life.
Yes. I know I learned at a young age as well that I'm going to retire now, and if I continue to retire forever, but, you only get so much physical movement out of your body for so long as you get older, especially me being an athlete. I ache more and more as I get older.
Sure.
I'm going to battle that, and I'm going to win over it because I've learned more recently about how to take care of that. But, I played as much golf as I could. I did as many things as I could while I was young, and I didn't want to wait till I was retired because you're not going to have that mobility or that body that you used to have. So I had the mentality kind of similar to you, is I'm going to do everything I can now. Right. And hope it'll continue forever if you can, because a lot of people just wait, and a lot of people, they end up literally retiring at 65 and then in a lot of cases passing away.
Well, and that's the scary thing is, we don't know when our last day on earth is.
Right.
So if you have the mentality of, hey, I'm going to work hard now and I'll travel later, or I'll do what I want when I'm 65 or whenever that retirement age, nothing against that. But if you, like what you just said and like what I've done, is why not do it now and enjoy your life all the way through, because you don't know if you're going to have the opportunity. You have kids down the way, you have other things that come in your life that, gosh, hey, I have these responsibilities, so I can't just pick up and go somewhere for 2 or 3 weeks. And that might not be a possibility. Or like what you were saying, your health.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't, go hop on a 18-hour plane ride, So
Right.
It's like, gosh, I better do this now.
And it happens all the time.
Happens all the time.
I can honestly say that if I was to pass, I have lived a full life already. And it's going to be fuller, but as I go, I continue to fill it. But I don't have any regrets. I've lived to my fullest to this point. And I think you feel the same. Like,
yeah, I definitely feel the same. If I were to die tomorrow, I've lived a great life. Celebration of life.
Yeah.
I know where I'm going, and I've had a great life and been really blessed with my friends and family again. And it's been a great life. It really has.
Yep. So as far as we can, we're going to stay out of the box. But right now, we're going to think outside the box.
Exactly.
So, great, Cameron. I mean, this has been such a good conversation. And is there anything you want to say about your company or you as a commercial real estate person to the people out there that might be interested in you, or maybe even to other commercial real estate companies to give some advice on how things have been so successful for you? I mean, I know sharing has been one of your things that you're very big on. So
yeah, sure. I guess I'd like to say to everybody out there, if hopefully I'll have the chance to meet you, and in the event you need any kind of a commercial space, that's what I do. I help businesses move and owners, and so I guess it's look forward to meeting you if that might be anything you might need. Certainly not trying to sell myself, but
right.
You never know. We all need to make a living, so
doesn't hurt to put a plug in, though.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to put a plug in.
I'm giving you that opportunity. So
I appreciate that.
The website that you reside at is what's that?
It's cpgsd.com.
All right.
That stands for Commercial Properties Group, San Diego.
There you go. All right. And on the logo, it does say integrity, knowledge, and experience.
That's what we strive for.
Yeah, and you do. And you really do. Both you and your partner are amazing at it. And not that we had you on the show for that, but it was great to share and learn that I just have to think outside the box, outside the comfort zone.
Outside the comfort zone, work hard, and put one foot in front of the other. You'll be happy with the results.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. This is Cameron Czubernat, great friend, investor in Cody Dog Interactive. And I want to thank you again, Cameron, for coming on here today.
Thank you.
It's amazing how fast that goes by, huh?
Went by quick. Real quick.
It's done already? Whoa. I didn't even start talking yet.
I know.
So, until next time, everybody, we've got lots more great guests coming on the 5-minute bark. But today, we're done. Talk soon.